On this question, we're being given a quadratic situation because it's in the format of ax squared plus bx plus c, and we're being asked about the number of solutions for the quadratic, which of course is a reference to the idea of the discriminant. If you're asked for the number of solutions for a quadratic, it's the discriminant. That's a variation of the quadratic formula, or it's a part of the quadratic formula, which you should definitely know by heart. And if the discriminant, the part under the radical, is positive, you end up with two solutions. If it's 0, one solution. And if it's negative, no solutions. That's because if you had a positive number, you'd be adding and subtracting, getting two answers. If you had 0, you wouldn't be adding or subtracting anything. And if you had negative, that's not allowed, a negative under a radical. So here, the A, B, and C are 64, B, and 25. So more than one real solution. That's this situation where b squared minus 4ac is a positive. So you set up that inequality, b squared minus 4 times 64 times 25 greater than 0. Calculate that out. 4 times 24, 4 times 64 times 25, 4 times 64 times 25, 6,400. So b squared minus 6,400 greater than 0. Add the 6,400 over. Now, this square root of an inequality is something we do want to be a little careful with. If I had x squared equal to 25, square root of both sides, I would get x equals plus and minus 5. And oftentimes, we don't even really care about the minus side. But if I had x squared greater than 25, then for the plus side, I'm just going to leave it all alone. X is greater than 25. But on the minus side, the one where you're multiplying by -1, you're also going to reverse the inequality. So here, the square root of 6,400 is 80. So b is going to be greater than 80 after we take the square root of both sides. But on the one where you reverse everything, b is less than -80. Because the square root of 64 is plus or minus 80. And on the one where you're doing the minus side of it, you're also reversing that inequality symbol. So now let's zoom out a tiny bit and let's think about this on a number line. If we have a number line, we'd have 80 right here and -80 right here. We want to be greater than the 80, which is like this, and we want to be less than the -80. So we're sort of seeing the two sides point outward there. And the solutions that would fit are the ones that are going to be less than the -80, which works right here. It can't be equal to -80 because it's less than -80. And if there were an answer greater than +80, we'd consider that as well. But here the answer is A.